Hello all and welcome to Crochet Designs. My name is Mary and in today's tutorial we are working on the gorgeous little napkin ring holder that you see right here. Simply divine. I love it a lot. Now the colour combination chosen today was chosen by the lovely Linda's Crochet channel. She matched her little colour combination with the actual placemat that was made a couple of weeks ago. Don't forget, if you wanted to, you could make any one of the pieces you saw at the beginning of this tutorial as a part of our 12 project advent calendar that you see right there on the screen. Now it does look a little bit complicated, but this is not a difficult stitch to make, okay? I think the only difficult thing was, believe it or not, weaving in the ends. That's about it really. And look, I used a tiny little heart button that I had in stock. You could use whatever buttons you like. You do need a button for this tutorial. We don't have a strap. If you wanted to make a little strap, you could, make a few chains, attach a piece of thread here, bring it over and pull the thread through the chain space made for the button. So you can use whatever you like. I have used a button upside down and I popped the button on this side like so. You could have also popped it on that side and done it this way. Whatever suits you, there's no rules. But there you go. How gorgeous is this piece? Thank you, Linda, for your colour combination. Now, the yarn used today is 8-ply DK weight 3-weight yarn. And I've used a mixture of 2 different types of yarn, so I won't give you labels. Just know that you need a 3-weight 8-ply DK weight yarn, all right? And I used altogether 8 grams. So really the cream or the white would have been 7 grams, and then you would have used 1 gram of these little, different colors that you see here. Very quick, easy, lovely stash buster. I said we weren't going to use stitch markers in the tutorial, but I used 3. I did use 2 sewing needles, one for the darning, nice thick needle so it can go through these spaces and you don't hurt yourself, and you don't pull up any threads as well. So that's a thicker needle you need for that. One with a point to actually help you weave in these ends. It doesn't matter if you have one with a point, just use that one to sew in your chain threads and use the same one to weave in your ends. Not necessary for you to have one of these fancy schnazzy sewing needles. So there you go. You will need scissors. And that's pretty much all you will need. Your 4mm hook, that's pretty much all you will need. Once again, a very special thank you to the lovely Linda's Crochet channel for her colour combination in today's tutorial. I'm not going to hold you up anymore. I'm going to let you get started creating our gorgeous Christmas napkin ring holder. Good luck all. Alrighty guys, we're going to start by making a slip knot. Grab the tail end of your yarn, wrap it around your finger once and twice, holding it there and holding it there. Make sure you have a long enough tail for weaving in later. Yep. Pass your back loop halfway over your finger, hold it there, pass the other loop all the way over, pop your hook in that loop and just give everything a tug. Now we're going to make 7 chains, and a chain is yarn over your hook, pull the loop through once, yarn over 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. All right, we're going to be making double crochets, double crochet US, treble UK. Yarn over your hook, skip 1, 2, 3, and in your 4th stitch, you pop your double crochet. So pop your hook in, and that's 2 loops on top, 1 loop at the base. Pull a loop through like so. You should have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 2. 2 loops left, yarn over, pull through the last 2. Double crochet US, treble UK, and you don't need stitch markers in this tutorial, so very exciting. Chain 1 and 2. You're going to make another 2 double crochets in this chain, okay? So yarn over your hook in the space, pull a loop through, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the last 2, make a second one, all in the same chain. So you have in this chain, you have what we call a beginning cluster set. If you're reading my pattern, it will be called a beginning cluster set. All right. So yarn over your hook, you're not reading the pattern, so it doesn't matter. Yarn over your hook, you're going to skip 1, 2, and in your 3rd stitch, which is also your last stitch, you're going to make a cluster set like this. So you need 2 double crochets and pop it in. Before you do it, just grab that tail and pop it at the back very gently and complete your double crochet like normal. 1. And then you're going to go into the same stitch there with a second one. Chain 2, 1 and 2, yarn over your hook into the stitch with a 1 and a second one, 2. And what you've done here is you've passed your tail at the back of your work, so it'll be easy to weave in later. And in this tutorial, our very next row that we create will be our repeat row, a very basic repeat row. So you don't need to chain anything. Turn your work either this way or the other way, whichever suits you. Doesn't matter, okay? But don't leave this stitch too loose. Okay, this is the start of the 1 row repeat. So you turn your work. All you're going to do is go into the same stitch you are in. And let me get a close up. It's a little tricky to see here with the white. You're going into the same stitch that you are in. You need to hold this thread here or you're going to lose this stitch, yeah? So you pop your hook in that first stitch, pull a loop through and pull it through to the loop on your hook. That is called a slip stitch. You're going to do it again in the next stitch. So find your next stitch and that's your 2 loops on top. Pull a loop through and pull it through to the loop on your hook. Last slip stitch is right into this chain space. Hook in the space, pull a loop through and pull it through to the loop on your hook. If that stitch was too loose in the beginning, it will stick up and look a little bit odd. All right, so what you want to do now is chain your 3. 1, 2 and 3. That might be a little too close now. You don't need it that close. Yeah, bring it out. Okay, so you've chained 3. The chain 3 acts as a double crochet, and then you've got a second double crochet, chain 2, 1 and 2 double crochets, 1 and 2. You're going to skip all of this, these 2 double crochets and these 2, jump into the chain space with a cluster set. So into the chain space with your 2 double crochets, 1 and 2, chain 1 and 2 double crochets. And believe it or not, that is your repeat row. There are no stitch markers needed or anything fancy like that. All you want to do is, we'll do it again, one more time, flip your work, make sure this is not too loose. You're going into that same stitch you are in, making sure you're holding on to that thread, yeah, don't let go. Pull a loop through and pull it through to the loop on your hook. Slip stitch into your next stitch, pull a loop through and pull it through to the loop on your hook. Slip stitch into the chain 2 space. So easy. Now you do your cluster set. 1, 2, 3. Yarn over your hook, a second double crochet because your chain 3 acts as 1. Then chain 1 and 2 double crochets. A very simple 1 row repeat, isn't it? Very simple. Just the slip stitches, be careful of those, yeah? And then you're just doing your next set in the next chain 2 space of 2 double crochets, chain 1 and 2 double crochets, 1 and 2. Absolutely easy, yeah? And you can already start to see the pattern. How gorgeous is that? So it's a very simple pattern. Now we've done 3 rows. You need to repeat this row that we just did for another 13 more rows, okay? You need 16 rows altogether. It's basic. Repeat that row for another 13 more rows. And what I want you to do is do that now. I'm not going to do it with you. It'll take me a little while. So I'm going to get you to do yours on your own. Meet me back here once you've done your 13th row, and we'll talk about what we're going to do next. Alrighty guys, I have done my 13 rows. I had 3 from before, so now I have 16 rows altogether. Now, even though I said we don't need our stitch markers for this tutorial, what I want you to do is just pop your stitch marker or a paper clip, safety pin, hairpin, whatever you have in your loop, and just leave it there because we're going to visit that loop later. All right, but for now we're going to do a thing called, well, it's not really called anything, we're just going to make some chains and we're going to be weaving them in through these spaces. All right, so let's start off with the yellow. All right, now I used, let's bring this out a little, yeah, I used about 1.5 meters for these colors. All right, so let's grab we're going to do the same thing we did before with the slip knot. Grab the tail around your finger, wrap it twice. You know, you did it before, so it's quite simple. Pass it over halfway and then pass it over all the way. Hook in, simple. And what you want to do here is chain 35. It's as simple as that. All right, so chain 1, yarn over your hook through once, 2 and 3. All right, so go ahead and chain 35. I'm going to pop this on fast and off we go. 3, 4, 34 and 35. So I have 35 chains right here now. What I want you to do is grab yet again another stitch marker. All right, so what you need to do, lift up your little loop here, pop it in that loop. Now the only reason we're using stitch markers here is to keep our loops attached in case we need extra chains. All right, I calculated that you won't need an extra chain, but one never knows because everybody crochets differently. So what you need to do now is grab a darning needle. A darning needle is a needle that's a little bit thicker on the edge. Doesn't necessarily have to have the little loop. I like the loop for this type of threading. So I'm going to use the loop, but you don't have to. Just make sure it's a blunt end, yeah, so it doesn't pick up any threads, yeah. So you want to weave the base of the chains that you just did. I'm sorry, let's try that again. No, you do want to weave it. You're going to pop your thread through the needle and just grab your piece. Now, pop your piece on the right side. What is the right side of your work? Remember when I got you to pass your tail through the back? That's the wrong side, all right? So what you want to do at the base of your work for now, because we're going to keep all the threads there. There's going to be threads up the top too, but just for now, this one here, I want you to pop your thread. You'll have 1, 2, and 3 big spaces. I want you to pop your thread into the very middle space. You really have 1, 2, 3, yeah? So pop your thread in the middle space, like so. Pop it right through. And just as close to the loop as you can get, pull it up, go over the stitches into the next space and through. All right, let's get a close-up so you can see what I'm doing. You're going over one, under the next, pull it through, like so. Just being careful not to pick up threads, okay? So go over that one, in, and pull through. I always think it's better to go that way and then around, so you know you're not picking up any threads, yeah? And pull through. This is all you're doing all the way across your piece. Very, very simple process. Simple, simple, simple. Now the deal is, if you don't have enough, like it doesn't look like we're going to have enough, but we'll see because it might be a little bit more down the other end. And there is, look at it. So if you don't have enough, you need to start chaining more. But look at this, there's plenty there, all right? Go over the next one, out through your second last one, and down into your very last one. So you should have ended up with going down. If you haven't, you probably need to do one more row because your row needs to be an even amount of rows. You should have 12, 14, 16, 18, whatever it is. All right. What you're going to do now is flip your work. Make sure that your piece right here goes right across. Notice how I'm stretching it. And what you want to have is your last stitch even with this section here. We're going to crochet over that later. It looks difficult, but it's quite basic. So where your sewing needle is, that's got to be even with that. All right. Stretch it all into place, and it's got to be even here as well. And I think it might be, actually, it should be perfect. So if I was to pull my loop through on this now, so what I'm going to do is cut my yellow because mine is quite even there. Cut it and pull, oh, no, not that. Just pull the loop through and tighten it up. Then stretch it through, right like that. All right, that particular one is done. What I want you to do is do two more the same. You need one in green and one in the red. Where's the green? Where's the red? There's the red. And there's the green, okay? So now you have to make two more colours exactly the same way you've done this. Head off on your own, make two more, weave them in just like you've done with your yellow, and I'll meet you back here once you've done. Alrighty guys, here we are at the end of the row, and don't worry if yours has come out a little bit. We're going to sort that out now, yeah? And just being wary, when I did my green, I accidentally popped my green in that chain space. Or was it the red? Doesn't matter. I popped one of them in the chain space, and then I was one set short here and didn't know what I did wrong. So making sure that your green is in the big space, your red is in the big space, and your yellow is in the big space, all right? Because otherwise this next row won't work. Now I said you won't need stitch markers for this piece, but actually you do, just for this section here, or it's not going to work. Remember our little thread with the loop, just with the stitch marker there, take your stitch marker out and close it shut like so. And once again, you are going to turn your work, slip stitch into your first stitch right there, slip stitch into your second right there. Into this section here, you're going to do a single crochet. That's single crochet US, double crochet UK, but not completely. Make sure your red has not fallen through like mine, and it can, and that's okay. Just hold it at the back for a minute. You're going to start your single crochet by popping your hook in the space. Then you're going to pop the last stitch or the first stitch, whatever it was that ended up here, pop your hook through that stitch. Pull the loop through like so. Then pull it through to the space that you're in and just complete a single crochet by pulling your loop through two loops on your hook. All right, so now what you're going to do, it's very interesting, very basic stitch, but it's awkward, yeah? Now what you're going to do is single crochet in the next two stitches. 1 and 2 right there. Now, just grab those tails at the back, you don't need them there. You're going to do that single crochet in the chain space right there. You're going to do the single crochet again that you pass through your colour. So first you pop your hook in the space, grab your colour, grab the last stitch, pop it on your hook, pull a loop through it, then pull it through to your space, tighten it up a little, single crochet like so. Move your work over, you need to single crochet in your first stitch. Oops, move that tail back, you don't need that there. First stitch, single crochet in your second stitch, and in that space right there, you're going through your green like you did with the red and the yellow. Pop your hook in, grab your green, find the last stitch like so, pull a loop through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both those loops. All right, so what you have is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 stitches. So now what we're going to do is make a couple of rows of single crochets. So chain 1, turn your work, go into your first stitch there, single crochet 1, pop your stitch marker. You probably don't need it if you are an experienced crocheter, but a new crocheter, the reason we use stitch markers is to find the stitch at the end of each row. So 1, next one, 2, and so on, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Chain 1, turn your work. All right, so you have actually closed this up and stopped this from moving by crocheting in the final stitch, and we're not finished with it. We're going to work on that later as well. So you're going to do another row, but this is your final row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Notice how the final row I didn't put a stitch marker. We don't need it. All right, remove your stitch marker. We will need it if your buttons that you're going to place here, your one button, if that is a really, really big button, you'll need a couple of more rows. All right, so just know that. Now you're going to pull up a loop and cut your work. Don't cut your work if you have a bigger buttons, do a couple of more rows at least. All right, and cut your work. Yep, pull the loop through, leave it there. Turn it over the other side. We're not going to weave these ends in yet. We're going to work on the other side first. Now this side's a little trickier because it's hard to see where we place the stitches. All right, so I'll get real close like so. What we want to do here with this one, because it's a little tricky, I'll get as close as I can. There's your first chain space. Now you have on this side here 2 stitches before your chain space. Very tricky. So you want to pop your hook in a stitch right there, and I'll show you close up so you can see. One goes there and one goes in the next one before we do the center. Can you see those 2 loops, and then the center? Yeah, so 2 loops, and then that center space. Pop it in your first 2 loops, grab your new cream thread you want to reattach. Yeah. Pop it in over the hook and pull the loop through like so. And grabbing your tail end and just pass it forward for a minute. We're going to lock that into place. Let's get a close up for you. You can see what I'm doing. Chain 1, and in the same stitch you're doing a single crochet. Hook in, pull a loop through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both those loops, pop a stitch marker there. Now normally I would crochet over the cream tail as well. I'm not going to do that here because I want you to see that very next stitch. All right, so you have your space there. Right next to it there is really tight, but there is a stitch. Pop your hook in, pull a loop through like so, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both those loops. Now what you want to do, and this is where your green comes in, and my green has come loose a bit, so I'm going to grab the tail and lift it up a little bit. You pop your hook in the space, you grab your green, remember what we did before, in the top loop of the green, pull a loop through, like so. Just pop everything down for a minute so you can work with it. Pull it through to the loop, through the space, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Yep. And now you're going to place a single crochet in that very next stitch. 1, yep, 1 into the very next stitch there, 2, and 1 in the center. Pop your hook in, grab your yellow, pop it through the loops like that. If you can get it through, mine just keeps getting caught. Let's try that again. Pop it through the loops. That's better. Pull a loop through like so. Pull it through your space. Just grab that yellow at the back, yeah, and complete your single crochet leaving your tail there. So far, what have we done? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We need to do 7, so we're going to pop our hook in the space of that chain space there. Grab this little guy right here, remember, and complete your single crochet like so. Chain 1, turn your work. Single crochet across these 7 stitches. Hopefully you have 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Same as the other side, you should have 7. Oh, by the way, you need to pop a stitch marker in there like so, in that first stitch. Not necessary if you don't want to, but I am, okay? And in this row, we want to make a buttonhole for the other side, yeah, to go through. So single in your second stitch. Remember we had 7, okay? So all you want to do is get to your 3rd stitch. And when you're here, you just chain 1, skip the 4th stitch, single in your 5th, 6th, and 7, right there. Chain 1, remove your stitch marker, turn, complete your next row by popping a single in your first, single in your second, don't need a stitch marker here, single in your third. Now what you have is your chain 1 space, single around your chain 1 space, like so, just around the space, and then single 3 more across. Hook in, single 1, 2, and 3. And pull up your loop. Unless, of course, you need more rows for a bigger button, all right? I don't, I have small buttons. Grab your sewing needle, any tail. I'm going to grab the yellow because, I don't know, just want to grab the yellow. There's no reason for it, really, there's no reason. She just saw one, she picked it up, and that's it. So passing everything out the way, what you want to do is weave in pretty much where you've crocheted over. So you've crocheted over this, you want to skip over your first white. So miss that, go over to your second white and just pop your yellow through like so. Yeah, go back in the other direction, skip over that white, give me a nice close up there, go into the next white like so. And now all you want to do, and this is an interesting one, you don't have to do this if you don't want to, you can weave through some of your chains or you can just keep going through what you've crocheted over, making sure you can't see the needle from the front. So you don't have to do it this way, you can go through your chains if you like. I find it better to hide it this way. Okay, that's just me. You might have another way you want to do it. I'm going to go back into the same direction but different area so we don't unravel what we just did. And I reckon that is strong enough. 3 times, that's not coming out. But if you want to go in and out of some of your chains first, you can. There's no rules for this here. And that's your yellow done. What I want you to do is weave in all your ends, but before you do, we're going to weave in this one cream. Because remember, this cream we still have left here, that's our very first tail we started with. You're going to weave that in quickly now with me. And again, you're just going to find some threads somewhere, and you can split it to go all the way up if you like. Just go up to the next, those single crochets if you like. Don't pull your green through, yeah. And then if you want, you can just go through, you can go up a little bit further like I'm doing, and go through some of your single crochets here. So there's my 3 times, yep. Now, the rest is super easy, I think, except this tail right here. We might want to do that together at the end later. But the rest is super easy. What I want you to do simply is that. Weave in all your ends, every last one of them, except maybe that very last white one. We can do that together later. Weave in all these ends. Meet me back here once you're done, and we'll talk about what we're going to do next. Alrighty guys, The very last thread we did, and I've just pinned myself, don't you love it? Don't you love it? The very last thread that we did, we're going to weave that in now. But what I want you to do is simply this. I would take this last loop undone for a minute, the chain part, yeah, and just complete that last single crochet again. But don't complete it. Do it this way. Start your single crochet, pull your loop through like so. Grab your loop, pull it through, but don't do the chain one. Just keep pulling it through like so. All right. It's just a trickier way to hide your knot so you don't see the knot. And it's going to be in front, this button, so you don't really want to see the knot. All right. So what you're going to do here is grab this tail, go back into the stitch. I'm going to make that shorter because I always mess that up. Go back into the stitch before this stitch, all right? There's the back loop of the stitch before it, and not just the back loop. You want to go down into a little bit of the back loop, and I can't get it in, can you believe it? There you go, and a little stitch down the back. So you go all the way down like so. Very gently, don't pull it too tight, yeah? Then you want to come back and you're going to go into the top loop of this stitch and, oh, get it right, Mary, top loop and just the side loop of it, very gently pulling it through. Try that again, like so. All right, now turn your piece and with this part you're going to not place it in that thread there, but skip over it, go into your next one and weave across your piece like so. Now you cut it like so. Get excited, guys. We're almost at the end of the tutorial. Now all you need to do is attach your button. All right. This is the right side of our work because this is where we weaved in all our tails. Yeah. So grab your button. Now originally this button, that's the back of the button and the front is clear. Well, I want the white to show, because that's just me. Now you can use the white, the green, the red, whatever you want to use for this part. I would like to use red. So grabbing the red, just all you need is a little piece like, I don't know, 1, 2.5 kind of thing. Give it a cut. You probably don't need that much. Oh really? You only need a little bit. Grab your sewing needle. Make sure it fits through the button. I just fought with mine about 5 minutes ago and it didn't go through the buttonhole. Don't you love it? Thread your needle. Give yourself ample tail. And this is where our buttonhole was. Remember our buttonhole? Making sure that your piece is on the right side. This is the wrong side where we sewed in our ends. There's the right side. We single crocheted 3 across. We chained 1 on the 4th. So go over here. And there's your stitches, 1, 2, 3, and there's your 4th stitch right there. Grab your needle, just bring it down to the stitch where you did your yellow. Okay, you're going through that stitch, but not that way, you're going through the back. All right, like so. You're going through the back. Pull that loop through like so, and that's your tail. Leave a good tail for weaving in later. And all you want to do, I was going to do it without putting it through the button. Grab the button, your button, I want the white side, there it is. Pop your sewing needle through the hole of the button, make that a little smaller, yeah. And then through the second hole. Now if you've got a 4-hole button, you need to go through all 4 holes. And I'm not close enough, let's try that. Okay, like so. And I want my button to actually sit like, I'll show you what I mean. I'm going this way over into the actual stitch of the single crochet, maybe even splitting the single crochet stitch. I want my button, and I'll show you when I pull it through, to sit like that. Because it's a heart, once we cross over like that, I want the heart to be shown. Now, if you don't have a heart button and you just want to pull it through, by all means do whatever you want, yeah? Now, see if you can do one more. All we need to do is tie it up in a knot once, tie it up in a knot twice. Actually, we should have checked it first. Before you do anything, let's check it. I'm not going to weave that in yet because we need to check it. If this button does not fit that buttonhole, we need to take it undone. But I've checked mine off air, so I know it fits. All right, so make sure it's a little tight, but that's okay. It's supposed to be, you know. First few times, that's what happens. And there is the button and everything all sorted out. If you wanted to change it and just put the cream, white, green, whatever you wanted to, you could do that too. So take that undone for a minute and weave in these tails. Alrighty, grab your serviette and put it the way you want. Turn it upside down for a minute, yeah? Put it the way you want it to go. You can make your serviette loose if yours is really big. You can make it teeny tiny by, you know, tripling it and whatever else you want to do, like that, really small. Or you can do what I'm doing, turn half of it in one side, half of it in on the other. Might be a little bit more than half, like so. Grab your piece, pop it on. Might need to do a bit more, a little bit more. All right, do you know what I mean? You just do what suits you. Okay, so 3/4 on one, 1/4 on the other. For me, again, yours might be different once again. There's your button, yeah? There's your buttonhole. You do it up, like so, and it's like so. Now, let's say for argument's sake, oh, I really don't like the buttonhole showing. Turn it around. Again, you can do it any way you like. You can even do it this way and have your button on the side. Yeah, it's whatever you want. It is your napkin ring holder, okay? And once again, a very special thank you to the lovely Linda's Crochet channel for her colour combination in today's tutorial. Guys, if you want to be a part of Live Antics and choose the colour combination of our very next tutorial, please join us on our live at 10 a.m. Saturday mornings, Melbourne, Australia time, where you as a subscriber gets to choose the colour combination of our very next tutorial. All right? My name is Mary. This is Wild Crochet Designs. Have a happy and safe Christmas, and I will catch you all very soon. Ciao for now.